Hi, I'm Kaden here with my brother,
Cal,
and you're watching Eating W's.
eat the W.
That's a W. Let's eat one. Let's eat one. That's a W.
On today's episode of Eating W's, we have our 2026 Conference Championship game reaction video. Now, only 2 games this episode, so I'm sure it's going to be a short one, but nonetheless, we're still going to jump right into it because that's what we are here for. Starting off, we had the AFC Championship game, which was played first. We had the 2-seed New England Patriots heading to the 1-seed Denver Broncos, and the Patriots pick up a win on the road by the score of 10-7. And there was not many points scored to start this game. And let me tell you, there was even less in the second half. Weather was a huge part of this game. If you watch the time lapse from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, it is just absolutely insane. It looks like they went from playing in Florida to playing in Canada. Yeah, it was crazy. It was cold, but the sun was shining a little bit. There was not a ton of wind. There was no snow or rain really to start the game. And then by the end of it, they couldn't even see the lines. There was so much snow on the field. It was just a crazy turn of events. And the Patriots took advantage of that more than ever. I mean, we both kind of said it last week in our prediction episode, and we were both pretty well spot on that this game's going to be a lot closer than people were kind of giving it credit for. But there was just no real way the Patriots let one slip out of their hands, and that's pretty much exactly what happened. The Broncos actually came out hot. Jared Stidham on, I don't think it was the first drive. It might have been his second drive. He had a 51-yard in the air completion to, I can't remember to who, but to Marvin Mims. Yep. But man, it was a really pretty ball. It looked good. And he followed that up of just a couple of plays later with a huge touchdown to Courtland Sutton. And all of a sudden it was 7-0 Broncos. And it was like, wait a second, this might be a game. And then it, of course, ended up being the only 7 points they scored in the entire game. By the end of it, the Patriots found themselves with a lead, a 10-7 lead, and then they just literally played like hot potato for the rest of the game and just kind of played keep away of letting the Broncos score. The Patriots defense did. I mean, they did nothing special on offense. They were obviously just trying to eat clock, and they just knew the defense was going to be able to do it. Really good punting performance that kept them in the game by putting the Broncos in bad positions. And between the running game being almost non-existent for the Broncos due to that stellar Patriots run defense, Jared Stidham being their quarterback in the terrible weather by the fourth quarter, the Broncos just couldn't really move the ball, and the Patriots knew it. They were none too scared to give it right back to them. They did it multiple times where they could have been a little more aggressive, but instead just threw the ball away or ran the ball 3 times. And it worked out like perfection. I don't think that variable could have drew it up any better the way that game ended. And then, of course, my boy Drake May got that huge 3rd and 6 first down run to truly ice the game after Christian Gonzalez got that huge interception when Stidham tried to finally go deep to kind of get some offense rolling. So really stellar win by the Patriots here. I know 10-7 against the Broncos the way they were doesn't seem like that stellar of a win. I think that they played their perfect brand of football and were able to pick up a huge win. And that is, more than anything, having a game plan and executing it perfectly the way they did going into the Super Bowl. Might not have looked pretty on paper in this last game, but I think that's a huge confidence boost going into this bowl.
And really, this game came down to two key plays, and they happened early in the game, really. One was and after the Broncos touchdown on their 3rd drive, they were in the red zone, which is easy field goal range, and had a 4th down and went for it on 4th down, and it was a complete disaster. And they failed on the 4th down when they should have took the points there to put them up 10-0 at that point, because the Broncos' momentum was rolling, and really that was really a key momentum switch for the Patriots, because they were able to stop them in their red zone, and then they were showed that if they were able to bend and not break, that they could win this game. And the other key one was the missed kicks. The missed kick by I'm trying to think of their kicker, Will Lutz. Was huge. He had 3 missed kicks, at least 3. 2 or 3. I can't remember exactly what it was. But he either way, he missed them on what should have been their home turf. He's used to the snow. He's been kicking in Denver for a long time. He should have made his field goals. They weren't. One was a 50-yard plus yarder. The other was a 45-yarder. So, yeah, they were difficult kicks, but they're makeable kicks. And then the one other key play was a fumble by Jarrett Stidham on what was an attempted throwaway, which started out as an intentional grounding, which was later then turned to a fumble when it was discovered that it was a lateral pass. It wasn't a backwards pass, but it was lateral with the line, which is still a live ball. It's until it crosses that line or goes forward from that line. So this was still a live ball. The Patriots picked it up, got their only touchdown, and that was really all the Patriots needed, because then their field goal kicker was able to kick in the snow. Have we heard that before? And make a makeable kick. This wasn't no Vinatieri 40+ yards in the snow.
Yeah, they weren't wiping the snow out with their hands.
But this was still a makeable kick for Borealis, and he was able to make his kick where Will Lutz missed his kicks.
Yeah, and that's really all that matters sometimes. I mean, I do see going for it. I get it's kind of a new NFL, a more aggressive NFL. But considering the situation they were in, I just don't know how you don't take your points. And
you take the points.
Of course, no game is decided by one play like that. But
no,
it is interesting to look back
plays.
and see at those key plays.
Key plays.
Yeah, it was certainly an interesting decision that they'll have to learn to live with in the off season. Maybe while they're relaxing in Cancun. But next up, we had the NFC Championship game with the 5-seed Los Angeles Rams heading to Seattle for a divisional matchup with the 1-seed Seattle Seahawks. And this time, the home team picks up a win. Seattle wins by a score of 31-27. And what was really the opposite of the previous game.
Mm-hmm.
While the previous game was fully defensive based, and mostly because of the weather, but also because they were very good defenses going against each other, offense didn't really play much of a factor, and this one was pretty much the complete opposite. Offense was a huge factor for both of these teams. Matthew Stafford, fun stat line, for the second time this season, had a stat line of 350-plus passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, and lost. It was the first time, I think, ever, if I'm not mistaken, that's happened to one player twice in one season. And it happened to him twice in one season against the same team. Both times it happened against the Seattle Seahawks. So I don't know how that just doesn't make you pull your hair out as Matthew Stafford. And poor Davante Adams makes his 5th NFC Championship game with 0 Super Bowl appearances.
0 for
so
5.
Really just heartbreaking for the Rams all around. About every single aspect of it was heartbreaking for the Rams. But I do have to give it to Sam Darnold and the Seahawks. Sam Darnold was not the main reason they won that game. He was not the MVP by any means, but he played a really stellar game. He was able to make some huge big-time throws with that pressure in his face, and I think he really kind of proved to a lot of people, including myself, that he's not going to crumble in these pressure moments. And
he's not.
I sure wish he could have proven that in Minnesota. I mean, I thought especially going against the Rams, the team that knocked him out last year when he absolutely crumbled, that he was just going to go back to seeing whatever ghost he was seeing in New York. But he did the opposite. He played really stellar. Kenneth Walker had another huge game, only about 63 yards, but had a lot of big plays in the passing game, and of course had the touchdown that kind of really got the ball rolling for him on that opening drive. And God, this was just a really good game overall. The one thing that I want to talk about, I kind of watched this game on and off. I sadly didn't get to see every play of it, but Tyreek Woolen, God, I really thought he was going to be one of the better young corners and kind of developing corners in the league a year or two ago, but he has just almost become a liability. He, of course, still is able to make some big-time plays just because he has so much athleticism and so much length that you usually don't see a mix of at that cornerback position. But some of the things he does, including the one huge sequence where he had a pass breakup that actually stopped the Rams on 3rd and 19 and was going to force a punt when they were down. I want to say it was 20 to like 28 at that time, maybe 20 to 24, something along the lines. I think it was 20 to 24, and he got a huge stop or a pass breakup that was going to be a stop, and then proceeded to say something bad enough to earn himself a flag.
He taunted the
to
sideline.
Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay in that Rams sideline, which ended up giving them an automatic first down. And then the next play got burnt by Puka Nacua for a touchdown on a one-on-one. And I mean, he had a couple of good plays that game, a lot of other bad plays, but that 2-play sequence right there, and earlier in that drive, he dropped an interception too, which of course could have completely turned the tides of the game too. But that 2 to 3 play sequence right there is just terrible. That's a mental mistake, a physical mistake, a coverage mistake, all in one little shitty bundle for him. But I do think that it'll kind of get better as the season goes on. But that was a crazy sequence for him. But kind of got off on a tangent there. Nonetheless, great game by the Rams, but just a better game by the Seahawks.
Yes, and this was the more entertaining game because this was a shootout back and forth. Stafford went over 300 yards. I'm pretty sure Darnold went over 300 yards. I think they both had 3 touchdowns. So this was a very exciting game to watch. And hats off to Darnold, hats off to Stafford. I really thought Stafford was going to pull it out. He didn't, even with that 20 seconds left in the fourth quarter. He almost got the Hail Mary range. Yep. I still think Nacua was out of bounds. I think they should have given Stafford one shot.
I don't think he was out, but he was close. It would have been fun.
They should have given Stafford one shot just for fun, just to see what would have happened. But it would have been interesting. But nonetheless, they didn't give him a shot. In fact, there was 0 points scored in the fourth quarter, which I find very interesting. Was that true? 0 points?
I just noticed that too.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, we have.
So yeah, I had to double take there because I had to think about it because they just punted a lot back and forth. It was like both offenses kind of ran out of gas after scoring 2 touchdowns each in the third quarter coming out of halftime. So that's what really where all the excitement ended was after the third quarter because then it became a defensive battle and it just wasn't enough for the Rams who kind of had some special teams mistakes with a muff punt, a missed field goal I'm pretty sure they had. So it's just more special teams errors. And it goes to show that you have to play and succeed in all 3 facets of the game to get this far because the Seahawks proved last week that look how big special teams can be with Rashid Shaheed and look how much of a just a presence he's become on the kickoff units and punt return units that they don't even want to kick to him. So you're getting the ball at the 35 most of the time. Or you're getting a kick return from Rashid Shaheed. So either way, it's a dynamic return.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought it up because I forgot to mention while I was talking, then realized it while you were talking. But yeah, you want to talk about some of those key plays that aren't necessarily the reason you lost the game, but definitely played a big factor in it. That muff punt by Braden Smith. The Rams had their first lead of the game, got a stop on defense, and then ended up giving the Seahawks the ball within their own 10, maybe
they
15
scored
at most.
After.
Yeah, pretty much an automatic touchdown for the Seahawks. That was a dagger to say the least. And a lot of stuff happened after that. Ironically, even though there was 0 points, the fourth quarter stayed pretty damn entertaining because Cal and I just both realized there was 0 points in the fourth quarter, which is absolutely insane. But nonetheless, definitely exactly what you want from the NFC Championship game and a huge win for the Seahawks, just like the Patriots going in with a lot of momentum to that Super Bowl game. So that was our conference championship game reaction. Make sure to stay tuned in until next episode when we do our final prediction of the year, the big game itself, the Super Bowl. But until then, don't forget
to eat the W.